The headline figure they put out, what, 350 billion
right.
over the next 5 years. Nice big number. It's unclear. So I read through the press release. I looked at it really carefully. It's still unclear how much of that is new spending versus spending that they already planned on. As an example, I think they cited 30 billion in capital expenditures that they plan to spend over the next 5 years. They spent 15 billion in capex last year and plan to spend 16 billion this year. So already that's eating into what they were already planning to do. I don't know that that 30 billion is necessarily a bump up from what they're already planning. One thing.
Okay.
There was that $1 billion innovation fund. They're bumping that up to $5 billion. So that is new money. That's more money coming in. The second headquarters or the third headquarters is it's great. It's more jobs, but it's for technical personnel, right? It's for technical support personnel. It's not executives. It's not like with Amazon and their second headquarters where you'll see a whole slew of.
But by the way, technical personnel, it's better that technical personnel are based here than in
say,
Mexico,
India,
Canada,
right,
India, or
exactly.
someplace else,
yeah,
right?
No, these are altogether net positive things. Again, it's hard to do the math.
How much of this, though, do you think is related to the tax reform plan?
Well, so it was an odd press release. There's clear signaling, right, to D.C., hey, we're doing our part, which they clearly are. Again, it would be nicer if they had sort of separated. Here's how much new money we plan to spend thanks to the tax law, right? There was, of course, the overseas cash that they're bringing back, or that they're at least paying taxes on. It's $38 billion. After that, they'll net out $200+ billion in cash that's sitting on their books that they can now use for all kinds of other things, including capital expenditures, including new headquarters.
Including acquisitions, by the way, in the U.S.
So here's the thing, is that for all that stuff that they said they plan on doing, acquisitions wasn't necessarily mentioned.
Right.
Buybacks, dividends, or increase in dividends wasn't mentioned, though there's still a lot of room for those things to happen.
What will they do? What do you think? What's the gaming scenario? What does happen to that money?
Well, so I think acquisitions is going to be the best use of that money, in my opinion, just because there's a lot of areas in which Apple is trying to really break into, self-driving cars on some level, media, programming. They've got 6 new shows that they're planning to spend big money on. They could spend a lot more, certainly. They could go buy something. CBS is for sale,
right.
I heard. So I think that would be the most strategic use of the cash. Of course, they usually tend to bump up their dividend every year, so that'll probably go up, might go up at a higher rate than they had in the past. But, you know, again, that's all pro forma. That's all stuff that you expect them to have done.
Okay,
anyway.
so I have 2 questions, and I want to ask you about the CBS in just 1 second. But all of these company statements, but in particular Apple, right. Do you think, you said you think it's aimed at Washington?
Yes.
Aimed at Washington because you think Apple, Google, Alphabet are under threat? I mean, this goes back to the cynicism that
right.
Joe would say I had in the days that followed the tax reform plan when a whole host of companies came out with their plans for bonuses and whatnot. And I had said
$1,000 for you.
And I had said some were for some were for reasons of because they have certain things in front of government players and other things. But at the same time, I'm starting to think, I don't know. I want to.
Well, there's been your skepticism.
By the way, there's been a lot of them though. Now
it's not,
and they're not all with something right in front of either the president or Congress at this very moment.
So here's the thing: is that a lot of times when you see these kinds of announcements happening, you have to wait for that second announcement. Hey, we're going to go buy this, or we want to do that. Something that they need to curry favor usually with DC. Again, Apple typically doesn't put out releases like this. I don't see these
right.
things coming from them that often. They don't really communicate a lot of these things generally. Of course, it is a new regime under Tim Cook, but it's not traditionally Apple. This is not something they normally do. So I'm still looking for what the signal is.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.